Today is Valentine's Day, February 14th. It's about 6:45 Monday. Monday? Or is it Tuesday? I don't remember. Maybe it's Tuesday. Whatever day Valentine's Day is this year. And I am doing a walk in reverse towards the boys' house. I have recently been walking from their house to the mouth of the main street, and now I'm walking from the mouth of the main street to their house. So that should be somewhat of an indication that things have changed. Recently my computer crashed. It didn't take long from the time I got back to America to contract a horrible, horrible virus on my computer that basically made it seem as though I had no files on my computer. I couldn't access any icons. I couldn't access anything in the start menu. It was a really, really bad virus. And I had 4 Molt episodes that I was going to release and would have done much, much more soonly. But my computer was ravaged by this virus, and so I lost those clips completely. So today's the 14th, and I checked today. The last posting I made was the 1st of February. So 13 days of unaccounted for material is gone. Which that sentence actually doesn't make sense. 13 days of accounted for material is gone. But, whatever, I suppose. It might be for the best. It's the only way it could have turned out, so in a way, can't really complain against it. And I can always make more, as I'm doing now. One of the episodes was called Southern Smack, and it featured this awesome clip I had of these kids in a park who had just gotten out of school. Some inner city kids, darker complexion, smoking weed, talking about all this cool stuff. Just the way they spoke was so poetic to me, especially having been without that for so long in Japan. So I'm sad to miss that clip, because now that's gone irretrievably. And then the other episode was all about me and Brittany breaking up. That show was called Not Together. And surprisingly, amazingly, Brittany called me yesterday, which really, really scared me and sent my heart and stomach just to these unknown of depths. I just had no idea what she would be calling for. And so I guess I was not just scared, but surprised as well. But I just felt like something bad had happened or something, because I didn't know why else she would call. But we talked for the first time in about 2 weeks, and it was like 100-minute conversation, I think my phone said, at the end. And she just wanted to make sure we were on the same page, because, we have mutual friends, and I don't know, without going into too many of those details of the conversation and all, for the sake of her privacy, we just talked about a lot of stuff, everything that has been happening with us, both big and small, and basically arrived at the same point that we were before talking to each other. The only real difference being that we were kind of updated, and so we're still not together, still definitely apart. And I don't know, at this point it's just sort of like letting things be what they will, be what they may. Ultimately I just don't think it's a good idea for us to be in a relationship right now, at least, while she's at Barrie and while I'm here in Atlanta. And if our paths cross again in the next 6 months or the next few years or whenever that might happen, then who knows what that might turn into. Who knows what that might, become. But for now, the way things are is the way things have to be. And so, that's that. I am living in Atlanta right now. I guess I moved in last Friday. And so, man, I've only been here for a couple days. Very good little move. My dad took me, and he was really jazzed about the whole thing. I wish I could have recorded him. He was just talking a mile a minute and listening, whatever the opposite of a mile a minute is. He was just talking, and helped me a lot. It was a nice little talk. He was insistent that we go out to drink something, but I don't know. I don't have a job yet, and that's part of something I really want to do while I'm here in Atlanta. And I've been looking ever since, the first Monday I had back from Japan, I started looking for a job. And so I think today's Tuesday, so, this is the third week now that I've been looking for a job. And, I've had some promising prospects. Like, I got a job at this smoothie place that one of my roommates hooked me up with. But that job just did not seem like what I wanted to do. And I had to kind of swallow my pride a little bit and realize that, I'm in a position right now where I technically don't need a job. And so wanting a job is sort of a luxury right now. And since I have this luxury of not really needing the money to pay for my essentials, then I should probably get a job that I'm going to actually enjoy. And so I've continued the search. I've done a lot of applications and submitted a bunch of resumes to all the cafes that I really like, and only heard back from one, San Francisco Coffee, which turned out to not be, didn't turn out. I didn't get the job, which was unfortunate, and I was disappointed, but, again, as with losing my molt clips, just can't be helped, really. And so, I actually have sort of an interview, I think. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's an interview on Wednesday, tomorrow. So, yeah, today's Tuesday, at Whole Foods. And I think that would be a great job. The position I'm going to be applying for isn't necessarily the one I would request if I had ultimate choice. It's going to be a cashier position. But I don't know. I'm kind of excited about it because I feel like it'd be a good opportunity to have micro conversations with people and really exercise sort of this extroversion I feel like I've gained since coming back from Japan. And so, if I can really talk to someone in a span of 3 or 5 minutes while they're getting groceries, to me that's kind of cool. It keeps me fresh and everything with what I feel like I've learned about myself. Busy intersection. Okay, not so busy. And so what else? Good Lord. Now I start to feel the weight of what it means to have lost all my clips, because now I don't really have a reference point for what I've said and what I haven't said. But I mean, if the last clip I submitted was the 1st of February, I was probably still living in Lilburn with my family. So, lots happened, and maybe I should just leave what has happened in the past and just talk about what is happening now. Sunday, I went to a Bible study with Ben and his girlfriend Kat, and I don't know, I did it because I didn't really have any plans for that day. No cafes to go to, no school stuff to do. And so I went to Bible study at night, hoping to maybe meet some new people, have some interesting conversations, maybe have some good, spiritual conversations. And I'd say all that stuff was definitely achieved. I had a really good talk with this girl named Tova, who's sort of is a person in life who I feel like legitimately gets it, just what life's about. And, I think someone who gets it is aware both of the pleasures and the pains of life. And they know that this is sort of a balancing act between the two. And so when you're not experiencing pain, there's sort of a levity in life. It doesn't have to be so heavy. I don't know. Talking to her, to me, was very refreshing. And I felt just refreshed, enlivened, and my faith in what I was doing and who I am as a person was just sort of restored. And that was great. I appreciate that a lot. That was worth going to the Bible study in and of itself. The lesson was interesting. The sermon. There was a sermon and a music period. And I wasn't really interested in the music period. And so I actually went outside and do something that I do often, which is look through all my contacts and just find people I want to call and just talk. And I did that with quite a few people. And that was fun. And then I went back in, and the music actually wasn't that bad. They had a lot of coffee there, a lot of strong coffee, so I just listened to the words and, enjoyed. Actually, I wrote some stuff in one of my notebooks, too, while standing. But the sermon, it was all about, it was a parable of Jesus, which I really like parables because there's this thing I learned in a religion class I took a while back. It was one of Jesus' disciples asks him why he speaks in parables, and Jesus says something to the effect of, it's the only way to understand a truth which is by definition incomprehensible to a man's mind and heart. And to me, I thought that was really profound, because when you start talking in depth about something like religion or philosophy, it's really hard to justify and explain and define exactly what you're trying to say. And so by means of a parable, I think you definitely can get nearer to the truth. And so I was excited when I saw that it was a parable. And it was this parable about this judge who didn't fear man or God, but some woman was really annoying him because she wanted her transgressor to be, I don't know, incriminated or something. And she bothered him a lot, and eventually he gave in to her requests. And the metaphor there was basically that. Let me try to remember. God, if a woman can make a man break down and go against his ideology, how much greater then can God do the same? I think that was the message. And the message overall didn't really apply to me. It was interesting because the guy who was giving the sermon, talked a lot about depression and how it's got this vice grip on our generation and stuff. And I think that's probably true, but I think the worst thing you can do to address something like that is to give it a name and define it, because then people think that they have it, or they look for signs of it, or, just you give it a certain type of life, a certain type of breath when you give it a name. And that doesn't really go into solving it, I think. the best way to get over something is just to not think about it. And there's no thought solution, you know. The more you think about something, the more you think about it, not the less. And so I didn't really identify with that. And then he went into another thing about how people need to be more, you know, honest with themselves and truthful about who they are and what they practice. And again, I didn't really feel like that applied to me, because I mean that's that's something I strive for daily anyway. And so I didn't really need a reminder from him. Yeah, I mean, it was a good message and everything, but ultimately I had this weird feeling that I was just above it, and prideful or not, that's how I felt. Oh, and so that was my Sunday experience. Fun. Went to the boys' house after that, hung out for a little while, got home a little later than I would have liked. Been waking up early now that I live at this apartment, and that's awesome. Love waking up early. Going to bed at like 3:30 in the morning, waking up at 8:30. It's crazy, but you know, it's good. I'm young enough to handle it, I guess. Today, Tuesday, today I went and met with my school advisor, my academic advisor, and she gave me a bunch of information that I felt like I really needed in order to feel like I'm back on track with my schooling and when I'll graduate and all that stuff, which really put my mind at ease, because I haven't really been worrying about that yet. I've been more focused on getting a job, but I have been wondering when I start school again where I'll start and from what direction and stuff. So today, after going to my advisement, I had a little bit of lunch and actually went to see a movie at my school, Georgia State University. I saw this movie called Weekend that was, I think, probably the first gay love story I've ever watched, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was a really good movie, and it was cool. I think the States, people here need more movies like that. And it was a British movie. And I don't know, it was like the first real film or anything really I've ever seen that has really humanized homosexuality, you know. Straight people, there's a definite division between straight people and gay people. And I think gay people kind of caricature homosexuality a lot and don't really see the depth, you know, the human depth to it very often. And, you know, our culture just doesn't revolve around homosexual themes in any way. And so, I really enjoyed that. Strangely enough, one of Brittany's ex-boyfriend, Riley, was there. And so that was really weird for us to both be there at that time, at the same movie, and Brittany and I not being together. It was just a weird kind of gathering, I guess, of the two of us. Didn't acknowledge each other. I don't know if he knows who I am. Probably does, but he didn't stay for the whole movie. And when I saw him there, I was wondering, like, is he here for an assignment? Like, why would he be here? There's no way he has an interest. Maybe he does, but he left before the end. But I enjoyed it. And from there, I went to Octane, where I sat down for just about 3 hours, maybe more like 2.5, and just kind of, you know, poured over my school stuff and really developed an action plan. Today, my main goal, since I was starting the day going to my advisor, was to form an action plan for like where I'm going to go from here with school towards graduation, because I definitely want to graduate. I know I complain a lot about school and stuff, but you know, that's just venting. Never really. The most serious attempt I ever made to not go to school anymore lasted like less than 2 weeks, and the consequences of it were barely noticeable at all. So I know for sure that I'll end up graduating, and that ain't no thing. And now I'm going towards the boys' house. I wanted to make this clip. I want to make a new clip. And just see what they're doing briefly. I don't want to stay long. But it's a good excuse to put up a few more miles on the bike and have a nice little walk while I talk and sort of flesh out myself. I haven't really talked to anyone today in depth, so I have like a bunch of things swirling around in my mind, and it feels good to get them out. And I'm approaching the boys' house. I'll be there soon. Trying to think if there's anything else. I might record another clip when I walk out from the boys' house, but this clip's already 18 minutes, so it took me 18 minutes to walk. I don't know if I want to devote that kind of time again. End up getting really late really quick. What did I do yesterday? Monday was a busy day. Bunch of errands. Probably not so interesting. As I'm reviewing everything in my mind. Yeah. Okay, I'm dry. I'm close enough to the boys' house now. So I'm gonna go. And you'll hear from me again soon. Bye. To quote Pippi Merriweather, I am sitting on a field of victory and enjoying a beer and some banana chips, celebrating my employment. And across the way there's live music, and I want to capture some of that before it's gone. Excellent. My own personal symphony. Wow, what a day. What a day this Wednesday, February 15th. Day after Valentine's Day has been. And I'm really, really excited to tell you about it. It's been a really long day. Lots happened. It's the kind of day a life could be made out of. Got to clear my throat. You know what happens when you ride when it's cold. You get that little bit of, stuff stuck in your throat. Anyway, at the apartment that I'm living at right now, it's kind of a weird situation. I'm not really supposed to be living there, technically, and the landlord is not to know that I live there. And so every morning this week, I've had to wake up somewhat early. This morning it was 8:40. And get up, put my bed in my roommate Julie's room, and just make it look like I don't actually live there. Because the landlord is supposed to come to fix a window or something like that, somewhere between the hours of 8 and 5. And so, I try to make myself sparse within those hours. And so this morning, I did that. although I didn't necessarily rush out. I checked all my mail and stuff and had a pretty relaxed morning, and had planned to go to this study abroad thing, because I went to Japan and received what's called the IAF scholarship, which is basically free money to study. I'm indebted to the school to work for 5 hours promoting the study abroad programs and this and that, whatever. And so today was the study abroad fair that I had seen on a flyer, and I knew that I could work there to sort of pay off some of my debts. And so at around 9:50, I headed over to the fair and was able to apply to volunteer on the spot to go hand out flyers. And so I volunteered from the hours of 10:10 to like 12:20 or so, handing out flyers, which ended up being a lot of fun. A lot more fun than I thought it could be. I basically just asked, hundreds of random people if they were interested in study abroad, and had some cool conversation. Got to look at some beautiful women and talk to them and smile at them and stuff. And it was actually a really good 2 hours. And from there, I biked over to Pineapple House to meet my mom, because she had gotten me some clothes, she had made some juice, and I hadn't had any coffee at this point, and so I wanted to have some coffee and just relax over there for a little while. And I got kind of caught up by this guy named Greg, who works at Pineapple House. He's talking to me for a while, kind of took out some of my time hanging out with my mom. But I ended up making my way back to her office, and sometimes I'm kind of snippy with her. I don't know. Today I think I put it best when I said that I'm just trying to pull her out of her shell, because she can be real with me. She doesn't have to be the considerate, self-effacing, abject person that she usually is with other people. With me, she can just be real. She can say someone's a fucking retard, someone's a stupid bitch, stuff like that. She would never say that, but she can communicate those feelings and similar types of ideas in words that are common amongst her vocabulary. But she has yet to really free herself, in my opinion. But anyway, I was a little bit more snippy than I should have been, considering all the stuff she had done for me, including paying for my rent this month. And so I left kind of promptly after that. I had an appointment at 2 with my advisor, and I stayed with my mom from maybe 12:45 till about 1:45, so a very quick hour. And I don't know, my mind was kind of jumbled just because I was doing a lot of things today, and I don't know, didn't even have time to second guess what I would say. So if I just had a thought, I would just say it, And not to say that's always bad, but sometimes you can say things that you shouldn't have said, and I was just a little bit snippy. And I'll get back to that later in the story about today. So I had an appointment at 2, which I was a little late for. I wanted to leave at 1:30 from Pineapple House, but I left at about 1:45, and so I didn't get to the appointment until about 2:10. And the appointment was just to kind of double check that I understood what was going on with my academics, because since I've come back from Japan, I really have not understood where I stand academically. But after meeting with my advisor yesterday and today, I have a pretty good idea about where I'm standing. Jesus. And crazy dog. And where to go from here. So I feel good about that now, and I have a plan. I really just wanted a plan, I wanted to know what to do this summer. I wanted to know what to expect next semester, and I wanted to ultimately know when I'm going to graduate. And now I know all that. I'm going to take 2 classes this summer, and then I'll have about 20-something credits that I need still in order to graduate. And so I'll be graduating in the spring semester of 2013, assuming that the world doesn't end in the next few months coming up. And so that was good. I left there pretty soon after that and met up with my friend Alex and Russell. And Russell is the guy who actually got me the room with my roommates that I'm currently with, Julie, Erica, and Millen. and they were planning to go meet some Japanese people over at Georgia Tech. I really don't know what they were going to do. But met up with Alex, and I haven't seen him since coming back from Japan. He was one of the Georgia State students who went to Japan during the same program and the same time period that I did. And that was really awesome seeing him. I've got like an intense affection for him and really everyone who went on that study abroad program. I really understand, although I know not completely, but just like that brotherhood and that love you would have for, the people that you'd be in the military with, there's a type of relation that you just can't get, type of relationship you can't get with any other group of people than those who you've shared like a prolonged experience with. And I don't know, like Alex and I, under different circumstances, maybe we wouldn't be friends, maybe we wouldn't even like each other, maybe it would go beyond neutrality. But, I just really love him in a weird way. Like we've shared this like really intense experience, and I don't know, we're all the closer for it. And a little funny thing that happened that I definitely enjoyed, I made some cute girl laugh. Alex and Russell and I were talking. I was waiting with them for the bus that would take them to Turner Field. And Russell asked Alex if he was ostracized in Japan by the Japanese. And Alex was like, "What does that mean?" And I was like, it means were you turned into an ostrich? And this girl who was not with us, but just listening to our conversation, started to laugh. That made me feel good. Made me feel like I was a nice guy who can make pretty girls laugh with ridiculous humor. So that was good. And I ended up biking over to Tech, and I didn't actually end up meeting up with them because I had a job interview, and it took them a really long time to get to Tech. I have no idea where they parked or why it took so long for them to walk from where they did, but I didn't end up seeing them at Tech where we were supposed to meet these Japanese people. But I did end up getting a coffee, which was great, my first real coffee of the day. And I talked to this guy. We were going to Tech, it turns out, to, have some sort of a presenter talk about something or another in Japanese. It was a white guy. And I met him because I was waiting for Alex and, what's his name, Russell. And so I talked to him for a little while. Very talkative guy, very personable, but the kind of guy who commandeers conversation and doesn't really let you speak. Sort of the unfortunate type of conversationalist. You can't really talk to them, they more so talk at you. But what he had to say was interesting, and so I forgave him for that. And we talked about Japan and Shintoism, religion. I guess he has a Japanese wife. Pretty interesting little conversation. But from there, at about 3:40 or so, I had to go to Whole Foods because I had an interview. And I am proud to say that I am now a Whole Foods employee, which is interesting. So I've now achieved my two major goals while being here in Atlanta. I have a place to live, and I'll be able actually to pay for my own way while I'm here. And that makes me just so happy, so thankful, and just so overjoyed that I have gotten all these things that I wanted and have worked for. And I'm very, very thankful, to, for lack of a better word, God, just for having all these things come together. And, I've worked hard, so it's the fruits of my labor, but, it's not just me, not only of my own abilities and accord that I'm given these things. And so I'm thankful, ultimately. I had made a really good clip that got erased with all the other stuff on my computer about being thankful maybe a week ago or so. And I second that notion. I'm thankful for everything that's come my way, and I want to continue to be humble about it and not think that it's purely of my own ability that I am given what I am. my supervisor now, I guess. His name's Larry. Cool guy, like him a lot. Looks remarkably like Lil Wayne. Met with him. We sat down and had an interview. It was a really good, solid, strong interview. He's asked me questions about, like, what does customer service mean to you? What are your goals? What are some of your strengths? What will you add to our team? Things like this. And I had great, like, just immediate answers. The only answer that I really had to take time to think about was, like, where do you have room to improve? And I had to think about it because I don't really know. I'm constantly trying to improve, and I don't really have a specific area that I'm working on currently. But when I was thinking about it, the incidents, and this is what ties back to what I was speaking about earlier with my mom, when I was being kind of snippy and not very thankful for all the things that she was doing for me and how nice she's been to me and understanding since Brittany and I broke up. And so I thought for a moment, and then I realized, and I told Larry that I've really wanted to be more appreciative and more thankful and more in the moment. And, you know, when something good happens, I want to stop and recognize what's happened and be thankful not only to God above and everything, but to the people who have also made it happen. And so I think that answer was a little bit deeper than perhaps the standard question, but he liked it, and it was true, and it was just a good moment. It was a really good interview. It was almost like him interviewing my personality more than interviewing me for a position. And so he gave me the job on the spot, which he says he doesn't usually do, but I liked that. I think that was good, and I appreciated it. And I will now be working at Whole Foods. Probably sometime next week I'll start. And it's awesome. I'm glad it's next week too, because my mom's having a dinner this Friday that I really want to go to. And it'd be a shame to miss that. It'd be a real shame. And so I don't have to, so that's great. Let me get over the road before I die. And so I left Whole Foods around 5. And what did I do? Oh yeah, I went home. And I cooked myself a nice dinner with some food that I bought a few days ago and haven't really had the time or the occasion to cook. So it was a nice stir fry with broccoli and carrots and beans and beets and jalapeno and some soup broth for the flavor. It was great and not too filling, but just what I needed, and I ate it with some chocolate. Oh, so oishi, so good, so delicious. And from there, I went to play music with Stephen and Ben, but unbeknownst to us at the time, the place where we were going to go play, Stephen's practice spot, was being used by another band. So we didn't actually end up playing, which was actually okay with me, because I preferred to like talk with Stephen and Ben, because I haven't really talked to both of them at the same time since I've been back, and pretty interested in reestablishing that dynamic. And so we talked about whatever. The only thing to me that's worth noting is we started talking about food, which Ben and Stephen are very, counterculture about their food. They don't like big business and stuff like that. And they were talking about Monsanto, and, Monsanto has a bad rap with people who are very conscientious about the environment and stuff. But, in fairness, I had seen a video, and the video was all about Monsanto. I don't really remember the title, but I watched it in one of my, I think the class was like Human Geography or something like that. And so the video was all about how, the good stuff that Monsanto has done for the world. And, the company may be involved in some stuff that is not good, but to me it's just ridiculous to have something that's like black and white. Nothing is black and white. Monsanto is not a purely good or a purely bad company. And so they were talking about Monsanto, and I just butted in with some devil's advocacy, just saying, Monsanto may be bad, but, when it comes to helping out countries in Africa where they've given genetically modified sweet potatoes to them so that they don't have to starve to death, but can still, make more food on the same amount of land than they could conventionally, I can't see that Monsanto is to blame or criminal in any sense of the word, in that sense, or in that example, or in that circumstance, I guess. And that ruffled some feathers, because I'm sure this is a conversation usually shared with like-minded people. But, if people are going to get too polarized, I can't communicate with them, and I'd rather just say stuff I don't even necessarily agree with, just to, change the direction, change it to a two-way street instead of a one-way street. And so, from there, after we talked, Ben had to go and play music with some other people who he had promised to play music with, and Stephen had to go do whatever, and I left to go to Whole Foods, where I bought one beer, a cool beer. It tasted good. It's called like Four Hands or something like that. I don't know, some sort of winter seasonal ale. Delicious, pretty high alcohol content, 6 point something, so higher than a conventional beer, and some banana chips. Got those, and still working on the gift card that Larry gave me a little while ago. Noah and I, my friend Noah, went to Whole Foods to eat at their sort of buffet-style food bar, and Larry was surprised at how much food that I had gotten, and said that if I could eat it all, he would give me something. And I was surprised that he was surprised that it was a lot, because I had to tell him that I had to sort of control myself to not get more, because I could totally have eaten more. And so easily I finished my food and cleared my plate, went to show him, and he gave me a $10 gift certificate. And so I've been sort of nursing that for a while, buying beer and banana chips and stuff, and I've got about $3 left. It was a $10 gift card. I've got some people coming. Gotta be quiet. Hello.
Yeah.
Anyway, so got that as my means of solo celebration, and then biked over to Sopo so that I could hopefully find a pair of pedals that I can put on my mountain bike so that I can ride my mountain bike when it rains, which I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow. And so I don't want to take out my Scatante, my road bike, into the rain, because it's already gunky enough. I need to take it to Performance. I have a free cleaning because I'm part of their membership service or whatever, and need to do that. I also want to get some yellow shoes. I think that'd be cool. And anyway, they had the pedals. That was awesome. Bought them, happily gave them $10, which is usually their standard practice is $5 a part. Any piece you want is $5, but the person who was running Sopo tonight said that he thought the pedals should be $10, and I told him I was happy to give him 10, which I truly was, because they've always had what I wanted, and I don't know, it's a good place, Sopo. They provide. And so after that, I went over to the area where I have long ago had my birthday converted into the Mayan civilization's calendar, and had my future, my fortune read to me. And I drank the beer, ate the banana chips, and there was a cool little live band thing going on at the graveyard, and that was awesome. Like this very kind of ragtime, swingy kind of band, piano, bass, drums, singer. I just listened to that music. I was thinking that I was going to put on my iPod or something like that and just listen to some of my own music, but I realized I didn't have to, because the sounds, the natural sounds that were coming from the cars and the people walking by and the band playing, it was all very, very soothing and very appropriate. I didn't want to take away or add to that. And so I just sat there and enjoyed. I have a job now. I feel good about that. I feel happy, I feel proud, and I feel thankful. And then after that, I biked to the boys, where I am now. I'm at the foot of the boys' house, and walking down the hill towards where they live. This is actually the same walk that I did when I made my last clip. And soon I'll be at their house to give Josh some music that we made together that I chopped up and made into clips. I have a list of things. I have had a list of things today that I've wanted to do. And this is one of the last things on the list. And from here on out, it's pretty much relaxation time. So I don't know if anyone's home here or not. I hope someone is. Doesn't actually look like it now that I take a glance around, but maybe someone is. Hopefully I can get in, because it'd be cool if I could complete this last thing tonight and then head on home, because it's almost 10 o'clock. And I don't want to be out too late tonight. I want to keep up this early waking. Don't want to spoil that. So I'll leave it there for now. That's my day so far. There's still more to come, but I probably won't record that. So I hope your February 15th was as good. Bye.
you.